Hello, everyone. Today I will be talking about a topic that may seem a little out of nowhere, but actually it's quite relevant to what I like to do on this channel. This channel focuses on following Jesus in an everyday kind of way, not just as in we're following Jesus every day intentionally, not just on Sundays, but also like figuring out where he fits in. How does that look like on just about anything that I do each day? And so the topic for today is going to be makeup. And if you're a guy, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I need to just skip this video, Susan, because that has nothing to do with me. But I mean, I'm giving you a chance to enter into the world of women and how women think and how women are affected. Often men are really quick to just, say things. I remember a long time ago making a video about mentioning something about makeup and getting older. And I remember receiving comments from a guy and something to the effect of, no, women need to continue to look good and so forth and put the makeup on and all that. So I think it's relevant for men as well to develop what they think about makeup and Christianity. Okay, so this is a really complicated topic actually. And there's a lot of things I could say about this, but I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to go into depth too much because that would just be like a whole series on this. So I just want to briefly mention different things along the way. For example, within the Christian world, there is a variety of thought about this, as well as in the secular world. But let's start with the Christian world. So there are some Christians that believe that women and young ladies should not wear makeup at all. They should just kind of like do what the Bible says, like literally, for example, like wear the head coverings and just long dresses, long sleeves, dress very modestly, very like not draw attention to your body in any way, including your face. Okay, so there's that view. And I actually remember growing up, and sometimes I would visit a certain church because my mom used to like go speak at different churches sometimes, and or we would go and sing also as little girls. But there were certain churches where it was like, hey, there's a rule here. You're not allowed to wear makeup. Okay, so that was kind of my exposure to that kind of perspective within, the Christian world. There is another side. There's like this other perspective where it's like, hey, women can wear pants, women can wear like tight fitting clothes. Maybe somewhere in the middle, it's more probably where I'm at, where okay, dress nice. There's freedom to express ourselves and our, how we dress, how we wear makeup or all that, but make sure that you have like this modesty that is referenced in the Bible. And not, I know a lot of people say, hey, modesty is actually talking about like not showing off your wealth, your status, but also I do think there's something to do with modesty and when it comes to like the opposite sex, just being aware of how you draw attention to yourself and what attention you want to draw to yourself. I want to go into a little more into depth on that topic later when I start to discuss about makeup. But okay, so there's this other side where like you'll go into a church and no problem at all. Like everyone is wearing all of the makeup. And actually there is like this other thing where like you might not want to walk into church one day because you didn't take a bath. You had a crazy weekend. Your hair looks like bad. You didn't wear any makeup. You don't look good good as a woman. And then you don't want to go into church because it's like, oh my gosh, everyone's going to see how bad I look and people are going to judge me and they're just going to look down on me. So there's kind of like a negative aspect to that, and maybe a lot of that is just kind of like internal, insecurities, but I do believe that a lot of people do, including Christians, do make judgments if you walk in like without makeup, without putting any effort, as a lot of people say. Okay, so let's talk about the secular world a little bit. When I was starting to think a little deeper about makeup, I researched because I felt like I had heard about feminists that had went through a phase where they're like, hey, stop wearing makeup. So I looked up an article and then I heard like both perspectives on this. So I'm just going to share it with you. I'm not sure if this was a Christian like article. I think it was like a secular article. So it has nothing to do necessarily with the actual Christian worldview. So their point was pretty much, hey, yeah, there is something to not wearing makeup, not feeling like you have to look a certain way for example, the men. Um, but then there's this other um, component that is also good for women. For example, that women feel like they should be able to wear makeup and if express themselves however they want, like through makeup. So you could see how even in the secular viewpoint, it's like, hey, you don't want women to feel like they have to do something for men, and at the same time, you don't want to tell women what they can't do. So there you go. Let's look into like my upbringing a little bit. I did not necessarily have any guidelines when it comes to like, I mean, I had to ask permission for when I can actually start wearing makeup just because I'm kind of like someone that likes to follow rules. So I asked my mom for permission, and so from there on, I started buying makeup. And I was really young. In high school, the girls also wear makeup, like eyeliner, mascara. That was the thing back then. I can only imagine it's like way more now with all the makeup tutorials on Instagram and all of that. Like, I don't remember necessarily if like using a curler and straightener was a thing. Blow drying your hair. I think like this is like in the 90s, early 2000s. We just kind of showed up like most days, like however our hair would cooperate. But yeah, obviously sometimes we would like use those things. But I can only imagine now. It's like if I would be in high school right now, oh my gosh, I would feel like way more pressure to like look at makeup tutorials and do my hair every single day. I feel like there's more pressure for young girls, especially because there's more information, more tools, more marketing, and all of that. Okay, so I remember in college years, so my early 20s, just remembering like, oh my gosh, it's the worst thing in the world if I am not wearing like makeup, just feeling really bad about how I look, feeling embarrassed, overthinking. So this shame, this sense of shame, this sense of I need to wear makeup to look pretty. And I'm going to be really open and honest with you, not because I'm looking for a compliment or anything like that, because I'm not. Please don't send me compliments. But this is the truth, okay? And I think a lot of people, women, can relate to this. I remember one day looking in the mirror as a early 20 something year old and just always being so critical of my appearance, my face, and body image as well. But I don't want to talk about that in this video. So just like my face, right? And I remember looking in the mirror and saying, "This is as good as it gets." And I remember thinking that because I always was like hopeful, like, "Hey, I'm getting a little older. My face is still changing and all that." And I remember just kind of like reaching that thought where I'm like, I'm at the prime, right? I'm at like my early 20s. This is when like that's the most beautiful that you're gonna be. And I wasn't happy with that. Crazy, right? Because I was so critical about, and I think women are, and hence the makeup, how successful the makeup industry is. Um, so now as an older woman, like a decade later, I can look back and think, oh my gosh, I was so beautiful, And not to say that I don't feel that I'm beautiful right now, but just like back then, if I could just tell myself, you look beautiful even without the makeup. My goodness, your skin is super soft. Like you barely had any like, sun damage. You you barely had, like you look good. You look young. But often it is the case that when we're young, we're very insecure. So, um, I s- let's fast forward to my 30s. Okay, once we enter our 30s, you start to notice things. Hey, you're probably a mom. You probably have a lot of stress in your life. You've worked, you've gone through things, and it's starting to show. So you might be getting like the white hairs I did. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do about this white hair? And I'm like, okay, they say not to pluck it out, but I'm gonna pluck it out. So I plucked out the first white hair that I saw. It kept growing back, right? So um, I had to come to terms with this. Hey, all right, um, what do I think about myself? Because now that I'm going to start to look older, and I feel like, hey, as a woman, beauty is a huge thing. The way people treat you, the way you think about yourself as a woman, there's like just way more emphasis on you look beautiful to women than to men, obviously, right? So it's like there's this shift. Okay, let's appreciate the person that you are on the inside too now. So that's kind of been my process going into my 30s. And I started to think, hey, I'm noticing that there's this, like, is there this insecurity in me that I still feel like people can't see me without my makeup? Um, Earlier, like 20s, whenever I wouldn't wear makeup, and I think this is the case for a lot of women, people would comment, you look so tired. Are you okay? So there's like always this pressure to cover up that tiredness. So now it's like, wait a minute, there's so much to think about this whole gender thing, so much to consider about the culture that I live in, the world that I live in, the time in history that I live in. Let's consider this. So it's been about 2 months since I made the decision that I was going to spend some time not wearing makeup, including on my YouTube channel videos, and including on special occasions where my family comes over. For example, like Mother's Day, for example. I'm like, okay, should I wear my makeup? Because I want to look good in the photos. And then I'm like, wait a minute, like we're working towards just acknowledging that I'm beautiful. And not so much a pressure to be beautiful, but just the idea of you are okay the way you are, and you don't have to do things just because other people say you need to do it as a woman. So here's a little bit of what I used to like have. So there are these type of things where you put on your on your eyes to make everything look smooth and to make your eyes pop out. There's this like type of foundation I used to wear to make the face look all like I have beautiful skin, like just one color, like to cover the, like, what are these, the little, the freckles, the little things that don't look as nice in pictures. Blush, because you do not want to look like you're just one color. You want to emphasize the cheekbones, and you want to look like you're not so pale. There's a lot of other things, like there's concealer. You want to add things to hide the dark circles under your eyes. There's mascara because like you want your eyes to pop, so you want to add some of that to you. And mascara, I mean, you would think that it's all the same, but it's not. There's like so many different marketing things out there where it's like, well, this one will do this for your eyelashes. And another thing is like some women will add like the fake eyelashes and stuff because their long eyelashes apparently are not enough, long enough. So eyeliner, again, to make your eyes pop. You need tools to apply these things. And of course, there's the whole lip stuff, lipstick, whatever you want, whatever your thing is. So I definitely don't judge anyone that wears makeup because maybe their experience isn't like mine. Maybe they're totally confident and maybe they wear all the makeup and the next day they don't and they feel just as good about themselves, as with the makeup. So I'm not in their mind. All I know is my experience. So if I see someone wearing all the things that I just described, I don't think bad about them or anything. Like, I'm not judging them. But I do want to put like a different message out there. So here it is. Something that really got me thinking, hey, pause on the makeup. Just try to work this out, okay? Think about it. I started to think, well, men, what do men do, right? Because there's this whole equality thing that I totally agree. And it's secular, right? Like feminism is about like there's this equality between the sexes, and in my Christian worldview, God teaches us that there is this equality, from the beginning, the way that Eve was created out of Adam, like we're one, right? So now, if I were to live like in a different country, for example, like you see geishas like wearing a lot, it's like just so different, right? Like I just always thought like, why do they have to wear like such white makeup and like just really like to me it looks really dramatic makeup, like you can barely see what their actual face looks like. And I started thinking, wait a minute, but we kind of do the same thing, just in a different style over here in America. And I thought, okay, what do guys do, right? What are the expectations of men to look good, like to go to work, to make a YouTube video, for example? You take a bath, right? You make sure your face is clean, right? They shave, or you don't, or you just groom your beard or whatever your own thing is. You probably want to make sure, again, you don't have stuff, gunk on your face. And that's about it. Maybe you put some lotion, right? Maybe you do have like some skincare routine that you do at night. So, okay, no makeup, right? Although now in movies, in TV shows, they're wearing makeup. And it's kind of weird to me personally. But still, I get it. I get why they would do that. But like just your average person, your average man, he does those things, those basic things. He, I think, looks good. He feels good about himself. He's like, this is as good as it gets. I did all the things to look good. And this is what my culture, requires of me. Just do this, right? Maybe get a nice haircut too. Okay. Women? How come women can't do that? Just that? How come women have to do all this extra stuff, right? So that got me thinking, hey, if I truly believe that I'm equal to like there isn't like we're fine, right? The men and women, like we can look good. We can like be around other people without the makeup. I mean, to me that brings us closer to being equals. So that's really my motivation. I want to feel like, hey, I'm on the same expectation level as men. I wash my face. I get a nice haircut. I style my hair. And this is who I am. this is how I look. This is as good as it gets without putting all the makeup and all that. Like, I want to embrace how I look, and I want to feel good about myself without all the other stuff. If men can do it, I can do it. I think it's healthier. I think men are healthier than women who feel that they have to cover up everything and they cannot show that they're aging. Okay? Embracing getting older, getting some wrinkles, looking tired when you're tired. I mean, that's just the human thing, right? It's okay to look tired when you're tired. So to me, that's the main motivation. And my Christian worldview, I think, I know, teaches me that my gender, there's more to my gender than just looking good with makeup on. My worldview teaches me that I need to be focusing on important things such as like good works, working on my character, prioritizing my family, my spiritual life. There's more to me being a woman than just, getting ahead even because I think often like some women feel like they have to wear the makeup, they have to look really attractive, they have to dress a certain way to get the job. I know that my mom in Mexico, when she remembers that they used to hire the pretty young women to be the bankers, and then so there was that pressure always to look pretty and young, because you're a woman and those are the women that get the jobs. So it's like in different cultures as well, not just here. So that's pretty much the reason why I stopped wearing makeup. And my journey doesn't end here. I think that if I ever reach the point where I'm like really confident in how I look and putting on makeup doesn't communicate the wrong thing to me, then I'll do it. For example, my sister just got married and I wore the makeup because we were going to take family pictures, and I thought, I'm going to do it because I think it's a special event and I want to do it for that day. But it wasn't like an emotional thing for me anymore. Like, wow, look how beautiful I look. Now it's like, I don't need it, but I'm going to do it. So there's a big difference there. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about in this video. If you like this video, please support my channel by liking. Leave me a comment with your thoughts. Let me know if you've struggled with the same things. Let me know, for example, your male perspective. I know that this might not be your experience as a man, so maybe it's all new information. Let me know if it changes the expectations you may have for your wife, your daughters, so forth. If anything, I would tell the men to start complimenting the women in your life for who they are, more so than how they look. I think that's huge, and that will help women to not feel like the only compliments they can ever get is going to be like physical, And we're telling women, hey, there's more to you than your looks. You are valuable. Your thoughts are valuable. Who you are is valuable to this world. What you do is important. You make this world a better place by being a great mom, or by being a hard worker, by, doing your best at school, all of these things. And of course, beauty is something that it's in the Bible too. That there's a book in the Bible where the husband is complimenting his bride and about all the things, and that's appropriate. But I'm saying that there's more to for women than just that. Although it's important to compliment women, especially if you're a spouse, right? It's important to compliment your husband as well. I think a lot of this works both ways. But yeah, we as a Christian worldview do not have a superficial view when it comes to gender, women, and we shouldn't just go along with what other worldviews say about women and the expectations that they have on women. Again, if you want to support this channel, if you like what you're hearing, if you want to see more videos, if you want to help improve this channel, please consider becoming a patron. I'll leave the link in the description below. Or you can also give a one-time donation. There are some things that I'm needing to help me with the things that I need for editing and recording. So I would really appreciate it. And I'll add your name to my website under the support section on my website, because I want to say thank you and I want everyone to know that, hey, you supported me, at least even just once. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.